Imagine standing on the lunar surface for the very first time. Above you, Earth glows blue and fragile, hanging in an endless black sky. The ground beneath your boots is silent to silent. No wind, no air. Pounding of your heart. Armstrong's voice. But not the one the world heard on television. A transmission never broadcast to the public. Words describing watchers. Figures on the crater rim. Silent, unmoving, staring down at humanity's first steps. Welcome to Starlight Stories. If you love mysteries that blend fact, conspiracy, and the unknown, subscribe now and join us every night, because what you are about to hear isn't just a story. NASA never wanted the public to hear it. Begins on July 20th, 1969. The night humanity first set foot on the moon. Armstrong and Aldrin had descended in the lunar module Eagle. For the world watching, Armstrong's first words were unforgettable. That's one small step for man, one giant leap for mankind. But what few know is that in between the public broadcast channels and the classified medical channels, a third transmission occurred, one that vanished from the official record. According to retired NASA communications engineer Otto Binder, an unencrypted ham radio frequency picked up a hidden exchange between Armstrong and Houston. It wasn't routine, it wasn't technical. The voice was strained, filled with disbelief. They're here, standing on the crater's edge, watching us. The official story was that Armstrong's mic cut out, static, dead air. Nothing unusual, but Binder insisted otherwise. For years, he claimed the tapes were deliberately suppressed, and Armstrong, two men in fragile suits, vulnerable in the void, glancing up to see towering shadows on the rim of a nearby crater, not boulders, not tricks of light shapes, vertical, structured, watching, silent. Others. To Aldrin's later cryptic remarks, when asked about UFOs, there are things out there. It's our duty to figure out what they are. But this story doesn't end with whispers. Near the Sea of Tranquility, in a Cold War atmosphere, both nations may have found something they agreed on hiding. And then there are the photographs. NASA archives hold thousands of lunar images. A handful grainy overlooked show what appear to be towering glass-like spires rising hundreds of feet. But others believe they are remnants of colossal alien structures. What if his voice carried across the void to Earth, only to be silenced before the public ever knew? Some researchers argue the silent signal wasn't just about what the astronauts saw but what they heard. A strange, repeating radio hum intercepted by the lunar module, faint but rhythmic. Armstrong allegedly described it as a signal not ours. In later missions, especially Apollo 14 and Apollo 17, similar unexplained transmissions occurred. Astronauts spoke of music on the far side of the moon, a strange pulsing sound that seemed intelligent. NASA dismissed it as interference, but the Apollo 11 leak suggests this was known from the very start. Think of the implications, humanity's first step onto another world. And already, someone or something was there waiting, watching, silent, so why cover it up? Perhaps because the truth was too destabilizing. Imagine the Cold War powers competing for dominance, suddenly realizing they were children stepping into the ruins of giants. Imagine explaining to a terrified world that the moon is not empty. Not dead, but a graveyard of alien technology. Armstrong lived the rest of his life quietly, avoiding direct questions. Yet, in a rare interview years later, when asked about unexplored mysteries of space, his answer was telling. There are great ideas undiscovered, breakthroughs available to those who can remove one of truth's protective layers. Was that his confession, a hint, a way of saying, yes, there was more to the moon than we were told? The silent signal remains one of the most enduring mysteries of Apollo. No official transcript exists, no recordings survive, just the testimony of engineers, ham operators, and whispers in declassified files. But the question remains, on that night in July 1969, did Armstrong truly stand on the moon alone, or was he already being watched? The moon is silent, but sometimes silence hides the loudest truths. And as we continue through this series, remember Apollo was just the beginning. The moon holds more than footprints. It holds secrets carved into stone, signals buried beneath the surface, and technology that may not be human at all. Stay with us, because this was only the first of many stories the moon is waiting to tell. Chapter 2: The Shard of Mare Crisium. The year is 1972. Apollo 17 is preparing for launch. But during orbit, as the lunar module nears Mare Crisium, something extraordinary appears on the photography monitors. At first, it looks like a lens flare, a glitch in the camera. But repeated passes reveal the same formation, a glass-like spire, impossibly tall, rising from the lunar plains. Commander Eugene Cernan notes in his private log, "At first, I thought it was light refracting through dust. But the object has geometry purpose. It's vertical, symmetrical, and standing alone." NASA's official statement dismissed it as photographic artifacts, a trick of shadows and lighting. But internal memos leaked decades later indicate engineers were baffled. The reflections from the structure could not be replicated in labs. Yet transparent, almost crystalline, as the lunar module circled closer, instruments began to act strangely. Altimeters fluctuated. Magnetic sensors, which should read near zero on the moon, spiked. The astronauts reported a humming vibration through their suits, faint but unmistakable, coming from the direction of the spire. Aldrin's later interview hinted at their unease. Something about that place didn't belong. "We were intruding, and I think it knew we were there." Amateur astronomers analyzing the orbital photos years later noticed a subtle pattern. Shadows along the spire suggested it was hollow tunnels or chambers within, aligned geometrically, some leading below the lunar surface. Others speculated that the spire was part of a larger complex, intentionally buried and preserved for millennia. Soviet lunar probes in the same region reported anomalies to Luna 21, captured radar reflections indicating hollow cavities beneath the surface, while Soviet scientists suggested natural lava tubes matching the spire's geometry. The astronauts' personal accounts tell another layer of the story. One noted that as they passed the formation, the spire seemed to shift slightly in their perspective, as if reacting to their approach. Mere seconds. NASA engineers later marked it as unexplained EM. Despite billions of years of meteorite impacts, speculation ran wild online. Was it an alien monument, a monitoring device, or a warning beacon left behind by a species older than humanity. Think about that. For over 3 billion years, the Moon has preserved this structure, untouched by weather, air, or water. And now, humans, brief intruders in its silent vigil, had stumbled upon it. Leaked transcripts suggest that NASA considered sending a robotic probe to explore the spire's interior. But the mission was quietly cancelled. Reasons remain classified, though whispers mention interference with extraterrestrial energy fields. Cernan reportedly avoided looking at Mare Crisium through telescopes after the mission. The shard of Mare Crisium remains a mystery, a monument from an ancient alien civilization, or a sentinel left behind to observe humanity's first steps beyond Earth. And the most chilling thought, the Moon is quiet, but structures like this suggest it has witnessed more than we can comprehend. The shard watches, unblinking, silent, but perhaps waiting. The shard of Mare Crisium. And when humans return, perhaps we will finally discover what or who left it there. Chapter 3: The Apollo 17 Cave Incident. It was December 1972. Apollo 17, the final mission of the Apollo program, had landed in the Taurus-Littrow Valley. The crew, Eugene Cernan and Harrison Schmitt, were prepared for geology experiments. What they did not anticipate was the discovery of a cave system hidden along the cliffside of a small crater. Schmitt, trained as a geologist, insisted on investigating. The lunar roving vehicle was parked outside, cameras recording, and Cernan followed cautiously. But geometric-like symbols or grids etched into the rock, faintly reflective under the helmet lights. Minutes into the exploration, the instruments began acting erratically. Seismometers picked up vibrations not caused by their movements. Radiation sensors fluctuated, spiking in pulses and then dropping to near zero. Harrison whispered to Cernan that it felt alive, as though the cave itself was aware of their presence. Deep within, they discovered a hollow chamber, roughly 20 meters in diameter. The floor was covered with fine dust, but unlike the rest of the Moon, there were deposits of a crystalline substance reflecting the helmet lights. It shimmered, almost liquid-like, but solid. Schmitt collected a small sample, noting in his log, material not found anywhere else on the Moon. Could it be extraterrestrial in origin? Then something unusual happened. The communications with Michael Collins, orbiting above, began to cut in and out. Static bursts, distorted voices, and a faint low hum came over the line. The astronauts froze, unsure if the interference was caused by the cave's geology, a natural lunar phenomenon, or something else entirely. The hum seemed to resonate with their helmets. Vibrating through the suit's metal frame, Schmitt and Cernan pressed forward, reaching what appeared to be an alcove leading deeper underground. There, they noticed indentations in the walls, circular, perfectly spaced. As they measured them, the hum intensified, and the shadows on the walls seemed to shift. Cernan later described the sensation as like we were being watched by something just beyond perception. The lunar surface. They were thrown back slightly, hearts racing. For several seconds, no communication could be established with Houston. When radio contact returned, the astronauts were silent, hesitant, as if unsure whether to report what they had just experienced upon returning to the lunar module. The collected rock and crystal samples were secured, but anomalies persisted. Instruments calibrated in the module continued to detect faint pulses resembling a structured signal, yet composed of unknown energy. NASA reports from the mission refer only to minor instrument anomalies and unusual cave reflections. But internal memos revealed that both astronauts were ordered not to speak about the deeper chambers. Some engineers speculated that the alcove could contain alien artifacts or technology. In interviews, Cernan admitted that the cave was unlike anything on Earth, like walking into something designed, not natural. Schmidt, speaking privately, referred to a presence, not physical, but perceptible. Modern lunar orbital scans of the Taurus-Lytro region show a collapsed or partially obscured structure consistent with the cave's location. Radar readings suggest hollow voids beneath the lunar surface that do not match typical lava tubes or geological formations. Some researchers argue this may be the remnants of an ancient alien installation, suppressed episodes of human lunar exploration. While official records remain vague, whispers in declassified NASA documents suggest that for decades, the alcove's true nature was never examined publicly, and the crystal material collected may have been deliberately withheld from broader scientific study. Speculation continues. Was the cave a natural geological anomaly? Did the humming pulse indicate a dormant device or an energy signature left by an extraterrestrial intelligence? For now, the Taurus-Lytro alcove lies undisturbed. The moon is silent, but beneath its dust and rock, secrets remain, remnants of a story humans have barely begun to understand. The Apollo 17 cave incident, and somewhere in the shadowed alcove, whatever shaped it waits, frozen in time, hidden from the eyes of Earth and patient. Chapter 4, The Black Tower of Sinus Medii. It was 1975. Several years after the Apollo missions had ended, satellite reconnaissance and lunar orbiters were capturing higher resolution images of the moon than ever before. Analysts noticed an anomaly near the Sinus Medii region, a small central plain often overlooked in lunar studies. Amid the gray cratered landscape, a single structure rose tall, perfectly vertical and impossibly dark. It reflected almost no light, standing out like a shadow etched into the moon itself. NASA engineers dismissed the images as sensor artifacts at first, but repeated scans confirmed it. The tower's edges were precise, geometrically impossible. For natural rock formations, it casts shadows inconsistent with the lunar topography, suggesting its height was immense, hundreds of feet, potentially more. In 1976, a secret reconnaissance mission was planned. A series of robotic probes was sent to photograph the tower up close, its path carefully disguised to avoid public scrutiny. The images returned revealed vertical sides, smooth surfaces, and a hollow base. Inside, the shadows hinted at corridors or chambers, suggesting it was hollow, possibly a base or storage facility left behind long ago. What unsettled scientists most were the energy readings. Instruments detected faint electromagnetic pulses emanating from the tower, irregular yet structured. Attempts to measure the frequency or pattern often failed, as sensors would fluctuate unpredictably, sometimes surging into dangerous levels. Some reports hinted that the pulses corresponded to repeating mathematical sequences, almost as if attempting communication. Astronauts on later orbital missions recalled witnessing the tower firsthand. One engineer reported that Apollo 17's data, when reanalyzed, showed unexpected anomalies in orbital imagery near the structure. Camera angles. Cernan and Schmidt's earlier lunar surface photographs were revisited, and faint linear forms matching the tower's geometry were visible on the horizon, barely perceptible, but undeniable. Speculation arose in classified channels. Some suggested it was an alien sentinel left to observe the moon and, indirectly, humanity, using unknown materials that resisted micrometeorite impact, temperature extremes, and radiation. By the 1980s, unmanned probes sent to survey the tower reported unexpected interference. Signals from Earth-based communication systems experienced static bursts. Compasses on orbiters spun unpredictably, and cameras occasionally captured faint flashes of light from the tower itself, as if responding to observation. Some engineers refused to analyze the data, citing instrument hazards that cannot be explained. In the 2000s, lunar orbiters with advanced imaging technology returned to Sinus Medii. The tower remained. Spectrographic analysis suggested it was composed of unknown alloys or crystalline materials, some denser than any naturally occurring lunar rock. Even more disturbing, thermal sensors recorded faint heat fluctuations inside, despite the moon's surface temperature plummeting to 70 degrees Celsius at night. Whispers in declassified memos suggest that military and intelligence agencies debated whether the tower should be explored or left untouched. Concerns ranged from potential extraterrestrial technology to unknown energy emissions that could pose danger to Earth if disturbed. The Black Tower of Sinus Medii is visible today in higher-resolution satellite imagery, yet remains unexplored and unexplained. Scientists, amateur astronomers, and conspiracy theorists alike debate its origin. Is it a natural lunar anomaly, a remnant of an alien civilization, or a sentinel waiting, watching, and recording? Whatever its purpose, the tower endures silent, dark, and unfathomable. For anyone who studies it, the moon is no longer a dead world. Somewhere in the central plains, the tower waits, holding secrets humanity is still too unprepared to uncover. The Black Tower of Sinus. Finally awaken. Chapter 6. The Moon's Hollow Echoit was 1969, the same year as Apollo 11's historic landing, though most of the world focused on the first steps on the lunar surface. Yet a separate experiment, largely unnoticed, took place. The intentional impact of the Apollo lunar module ascent stage on the moon's surface. Scientists anticipated a standard seismic response cause dissipating into the lunar soil, but what followed was anything but ordinary. Seismometers installed by Apollo 12 recorded vibrations that lasted far longer than expected. Instead of a brief tremor, the moon rang for over 30 minutes. The echoes behaved as though the lunar interior was hollow, not solid. Waves bounced and amplified in ways inconsistent with known geology. Some NASA engineers suggested the moon itself might be an artificial construct, a shell with vast interior chambers Over the following decades, further seismic experiments were conducted by successive missions. Each time, similar patterns emerged. Apollo 14, 15, and 16 all recorded abnormal vibrations. The anomalies were subtle, yet undeniable waves resonating in rhythmic, structured ways. Some researchers concluded the moon might contain enormous voids, cavities large enough to contain cities or alien technology. The notion was almost immediately suppressed. Publicly, NASA emphasized the moon's geologic activity, volcanic history, and meteoroid impacts. Privately, engineers debated the possibility of alien interiors, large spaces or hidden constructs intentionally placed or preserved for eons. In the late 1990s, robotic orbiters equipped with gravimetric sensors confirmed density variations beneath certain lunar regions. Mare, Imbrium, Tycho, and even Sinus Medii revealed massive, anomalous subterranean voids and metallic signatures inconsistent with natural geology. Some of these voids coincided with structures previously spotted, including the Black Tower and Tycho's buried ship. Astronauts involved in Apollo 15 and 16 occasionally referenced strange experiences, though none officially reported them. Cernan, in private correspondence, described a low-frequency hum during EVA operations, a vibration that seems alive, pulsing beneath the surface. Others spoke of odd reflections from craters that seemed to vanish when approached, hinting at hollow or artificial interiors. The most chilling accounts came in 2001, when a modern lunar orbiter measured subsurface echoes in Mare Crisium. Scientists recorded repetitive pulses that matched a mathematical sequence, prime numbers interspersed with geometric patterns. These pulses seemed too structured to be natural, almost as if someone or something within the moon was communicating or responding. Radar scans of the lunar far side, previously hidden from Earth, also revealed complex structures buried beneath layers of regolith. Vast corridors, hollow domes, and linear channels hinted at an enormous interior network. Some analysts suggested the moon could be a colossal archive, preserving artifacts or alien technology for millions of years. The hollow echo hypothesis suggests that the moon is not simply a satellite, but a monitoring station or a dormant construct. Impacts and seismic tests merely awakened it briefly, allowing subtle signals to escape into space. Some engineers speculated that these echoes could act as communication, warnings, or even activation mechanisms. The psychological impact of these findings was profound. Whistleblowers later reported that several scientists refused to discuss the anomalies openly, fearing professional ridicule or intervention by government agencies. Certain seismic logs remain classified to this day. For decades, humanity has observed the moon from orbit and from Earth, considering it a lifeless rock. Yet the hollow echo suggests something far older and more intelligent may reside within. Perhaps the moon itself is a sentinel, a repository, or a sleeping city left behind by an extraterrestrial civilization. And as humanity plans to return to the moon in the coming decades, the echoes serve as a warning. We may awaken something we do not fully understand, something that has patiently waited beneath the lunar crust for millions of years. The moon's hollow echo, and somewhere beneath the surface, the pulse continues silent to the world, but alive and waiting. Chapter 7. The Frozen Astronauts in the late 1970s. The Apollo program had officially ended with Apollo 17, but rumors persisted to the public. Among these was the so-called Apollo 20, allegedly launched in 1976 under complete secrecy, a joint U.S.-Soviet operation. Its mission: to investigate a massive anomaly on the far side of the Moon, near the lunar crater called Delport, where satellites had recorded unnatural metallic reflections and unusual heat signatures. The crew reportedly consisted of highly trained astronauts and engineers whose identities were classified. Their goal was to explore a massive, elongated structure partially buried beneath regolitha, structure so large it spanned kilometers. Some documents hint at the discovery of an alien spacecraft intact, lying dormant for eons, its design unlike anything humans could comprehend. Upon landing, the crew began reconnaissance. The craft's exterior was smooth, metallic, with dark panels absorbing light rather than reflecting it. Near the entrance, frozen humanoid figures were found, encased in a strange crystalline substance, perfectly preserved. One of the astronauts, in a private log later leaked, described them as not human, but somehow humanoid, like a hybrid of biology and technology. Inside the vessel, corridors stretched impossibly long, curving and twisting in ways that defied geometry. Panels displayed symbols resembling circuitry fused with organic patterns, pulsing faintly as if alive. The astronauts reported hearing low-frequency vibrations resonating from the walls, structured rhythmica, heartbeat perhaps. The frozen humanoid figures were placed carefully in containment modules. Some documents suggest that attempts to analyze them caused electrical feedback, temporarily shutting down onboard instruments. Video footage, later leaked, shows the figures beginning to emit faint glows, almost imperceptible, before the camera signal abruptly cuts out. Outside, instruments recorded fluctuating electromagnetic fields surrounding the craft. Radiation sensors spiked, then normalized in regular intervals. The crew speculated that the vessel itself might be a dormant energy system, powered by unknown mechanisms, or possibly sentient in some form. Communication with Earth remained sporadic. Some transmissions were intentionally encrypted, others allegedly jammed. Mission logs describe strange events, instruments malfunctioning without reason, cameras capturing fleeting shapes in the shadows, and one astronaut reporting a whisper-like sound. "It knows we are here. It knows." As the mission progressed, astronauts documented evidence of alien technology, panels that responded to thought or gesture, chambers with anti-gravity effects, and a central chamber that radiated energy in impossible patterns. Some files hint that the alien vessel was capable of generating artificial atmospheres or even miniature gravitational fields, as small dust particles floated inside corridors, defying normal physics. After several days, the crew attempted to transport samples and humanoid figures back to the lunar module. Witnesses later reported a mysterious disappearance. One astronaut vanished from the cabin without explanation. Sensors indicated a sudden energy spike, and subsequent recordings captured distorted audio, including a faint, alien-like vocalization. the mission was terminated abruptly. Recovery teams reportedly secured the vessel and humanoid specimens, removing all evidence before any public disclosure. Some researchers claim the Apollo 20 footage and logs were classified as top-secret extraterrestrial contact, and rumors of the mission persist in fringe scientific communities. Analysis of leaked material suggests that the humanoid beings found were not entirely biological. Crystalline structures within their bodies seemed to interface with the ship, suggesting a hybrid life form designed to merge with technology. This raises chilling questions. Were these beings explorers, caretakers, or prisoners? And was the craft itself a device waiting to awaken? The lost Apollo 20 mission remains one of the Moon's most controversial legends. While official documentation denies its existence, whistleblowers and leaked recordings continue to fuel speculation. Every year, amateur astronomers and satellite analysts return to the Delporte region, hoping for a glimpse of the mysterious vessel or the crystalline forms it once housed. And so, beneath the far side of the Moon, the frozen astronauts remain silent witnesses to a technology far beyond humanity's understanding, preserved in the cold. Waiting, the frozen astronauts, and the unanswered question lingers. When humanity finally returns to the Moon, will they find the craft empty, or will something inside awaken once more? Chapter 8, The Dark Side Relay. It was 2007, decades after the Apollo missions and numerous orbital surveys. Humanity had returned to lunar exploration with advanced satellites, including the Chinese Change and Indian Chandrayaan orbiters. One anomaly captured international attention: faint, structured signals emanating from the Moon's far side, specifically in the region surrounding the crater Daedalus. The signals were not random, they were rhythmic, repeating, and unlike any natural cosmic phenomenon. Scientists analyzing the patterns suggested a possible source: a massive buried installation or technology designed to broadcast across long distances. Attempts to triangulate the signal produced irregular results. Every measurement hinted at intelligent origin, but the Moon's surface seemed devoid of visible structures. Some researchers began calling it the Dark Side Relay, theorizing it was a communication hub left behind by an alien civilization. In 2010, a Chinese orbiter equipped with high-resolution radar and electromagnetic sensors passed over Daedalus. Instruments detected metallic densities beneath several hundred meters of regolith. Thermal imaging revealed heat pulses in a consistent sequence, mirroring the signals picked up from Earth. Analysis of radar reflections suggested a lattice of tunnels or chambers, some circular, others rectangular, forming a network buried beneath the lunar surface. Amateur radio operators across the globe intercepted the faint signals independently. The tones were unlike any known communication, oscillating at frequencies human equipment could barely record. Mathematicians analyzing the pattern noticed repeating sequences of prime numbers and geometric ratios, strongly suggesting intelligence and intentionality. Some theorists proposed that the relay was part of a larger lunar network, possibly connected to the Tycho ship and the Black Tower of Sinus Medea. The Moon, they suggested, was not inert, but an active system of monitoring and communication devices left behind by an ancient species. Each anomaly discovered spires, towers, and buried ships could be interconnected through these mysterious signals. In 2012, a privately funded lunar mission attempted a low-altitude flyover of Daedalus. The probes reported disruptions, magnetometers spiked, cameras temporarily malfunctioned, and infrared sensors registered transient lights inside the buried chambers. One video frame showed a faint grid-like structure beneath the regolith, almost glowing, as if the buried facility was partially powered or self-maintaining. Whistleblowers claim that some of the dark side relay signals were intercepted during manned missions. Astronauts reported hearing faint rhythmic pulses through onboard microphones, even when all known systems were off. In private logs, one astronaut noted a sensation of being watched through time, as if the relay was aware of their presence. Speculation escalated. Some scientists suggested the relay could still be operational, possibly communicating with entities beyond the solar system, or even observing humanity's progress. Others proposed a defensive function, monitoring any technological civilization that arrived on the Moon. In 2016, radar scans revealed what appeared to be an entrance or antenna structure near the center of the anomaly. Though buried, its geometric precision was undeniable. Straight lines, perfect angles, and shapes inconsistent with natural lunar geology. Thermal imaging suggested some internal energy source. Subtle but persistent, the dark side relay remains one of the Moon's most enigmatic secrets, visible in radar and infrared, yet inaccessible to humans. It continues to broadcast signals whose origin and purpose are unknown. Some experts warn that interacting with it could be dangerous, potentially triggering systems designed to protect whatever lies inside. And so, the far side of the Moon remains a place of mystery, silent to the human eye, yet alive in energy and signal. Perhaps it is waiting for those who dare to listen, or those who are ready to decode the language of an ancient intelligence. The dark side relay and the signals persist, repeating endlessly in the vacuum, hinting at a lunar system far older and more complex than humanity has ever imagined. Chapter 9. The Archive under Copernicus in 1980. The Copernicus crater, one of the Moon's largest and most studied formations, drew renewed attention from lunar orbiters. While the crater's rim and central peak had been extensively photographed during the Apollo missions, modern radar and imaging technology revealed an anomaly beneath the surface. Subsurface scans suggested a massive, hollowed area, far larger than expected for a natural formation. It appeared to contain corridors and chambers, arranged with geometric precision. Initial explanations were mundane: collapsed lava tubes, natural cavities, or measurement errors. But deeper analysis revealed inconsistencies. Certain chambers reflected radar differently, suggesting metallic or crystalline materials. Heat signatures within the subsurface voids pulsed rhythmically, sometimes rising to levels higher than surrounding lunar rock, despite the Moon's frigid environment. Astronauts who orbited Copernicus during Apollo missions had long reported equipment anomalies in the region. Magnetic sensors fluctuated unpredictably. Cameras occasionally captured faint, linear shadows that did not correspond with the terrain. Even long after the missions, archived footage revealed features previously overlooked: rectangular depressions and faint tunnel-like formations beneath the regolith. By 1995, a private research team reconstructed the radar data. Their findings suggested a sprawling underground network spanning kilometers beneath Copernicus. The layout indicated a possible archive: storage chambers, corridors, and vault-like structures designed to preserve something, possibly indefinitely. Some researchers hypothesized it was a repository of alien knowledge or technology, left in a dormant state to await discovery. Later, orbital imaging in the early 2000s revealed additional anomalies. Reflections from metallic surfaces within the subsurface chambers could not be explained by natural geology. Thermal sensors recorded subtle variations, hinting at stored energy or automated systems. Electromagnetic readings suggested faint pulses resembling encoded signals. Analysts posited these signals might be a form of preservation protocol, maintaining the interior for millions of years. Whistleblowers allege that classified lunar missions attempted to probe the Copernicus archive. Remote robotic landers and radar penetrators reportedly experienced sudden malfunctions near the chambers. Communications disrupted inexplicably, and some equipment readings indicated brief, directed energy discharges from within. Some scientists concluded that the structure might not only be preserved, but actively monitored or protected by unknown mechanisms. Speculation runs wild. Could the archive beneath Copernicus be the remnants of an advanced civilization predating humanity? Perhaps it is a library of alien history, technology, or intelligence left on the moon for safekeeping. Or maybe it is a sentinel facility built to detect and respond to any new species reaching the lunar surface. Analysis of leaked radar and thermal data suggests that the chambers are organized hierarchically, with central hubs connected by tunnels. Some sections contain reflective materials consistent with unknown alloys, while others appear hollow, possibly for storage or other purposes. Despite repeated observation, no surface entrance has been identified, reinforcing the idea of intentional concealment. Astronauts and engineers alike reported a psychological impact when reviewing data from Copernicus: a sense of being observed, or a subtle awareness of something watching, persisted in logs and personal notes. One mission analyst described it as the moon's way of reminding us that we are intruders, that we do not yet understand its guardianship. The archive under Copernicus remains one of the moon's most enigmatic features, visible only through subsurface imaging, yet inaccessible to humans. It suggests a level of planning and technology far beyond our understanding. What knowledge or technology it contains, who left it, and whether it is still active are questions that remain unanswered. And as humanity prepares to return to the moon, one thing is clear: beneath Copernicus lies a secret waiting for hidden archive, a testament to an intelligence far older and more advanced than ourselves. The archive under Copernicus, and somewhere beneath the lunar surface, the chambers await, silent but alive, ready for those who are daring enough to enter. Chapter 10: The Awakening Mechanism. It was 2018. decades after humanity's first footsteps on the moon. Yet lunar exploration had never ceased. Satellites and orbiters, equipped with advanced radar, thermal imaging, and electromagnetic sensors, were mapping the moon in unprecedented detail. Amid the sea of tranquility, an unusual anomaly appeared in orbital scans, a complex of subterranean chambers aligned with a faint electromagnetic signature, pulsing in precise intervals. Analysts labeled it Site Alpha. Site Alpha's characteristics defied natural explanation. Radar revealed a network of tunnels, chambers, and domes beneath the regolith. Thermal imaging indicated energy activity despite the absence of any sunlight or known heat source. Metallic reflections and geometric formations suggested artificial construction. What truly captured scientists' attention was a rhythmic sequence of energy pulses detected on multiple frequencies patterns too, structured to be random. A secretive international lunar probe was dispatched to investigate further. Upon approach, instruments registered sudden anomalies, magnetic spikes, radiation fluctuations, and temporary visual distortions. The probe's cameras captured glimpses of structures resembling panels, conduits, and chambers within the moon's crust, and faint, oscillating lights that appeared to respond to the probe's movements. Analysis suggested the possibility of an awakening mechanism, a device or system designed to detect life, intelligence, or activity on the lunar surface. Some researchers proposed that the moon itself was a dormant monitoring station, or perhaps a repository designed to activate when certain conditions were met, preserving knowledge or technology until a species reached a sufficient level of development. Historical patterns support this theory. Structures like the Black Tower of Sinus Medii, the Tycho ship, and Copernicus archive all align with hidden cavities and electromagnetic anomalies. The awakening mechanism appeared to link these sites, forming an integrated network. Subtle energy readings suggested a coherent system designed to respond intelligently, perhaps communicating across distances, even beyond the moon itself. Leaked logs from mission engineers describe unexpected feedback during tests. Electromagnetic pulses intensified when sensors approached, almost as if the system recognized observation. Cameras captured fleeting reflections and geometric shadows moving along chamber walls. One scientist noted, "It's as if the moon itself is aware, waiting." By 2020, further analysis revealed that the pulses emitted from Site Alpha corresponded to complex sequences, mathematical constants, prime numbers, and geometric ratios, resembling an intentional language or protocol. Could these pulses be a warning, an invitation, a record for humanity to decipher? Astronauts who observed Site Alpha from orbit reported unusual visual phenomena, faint lights, geometric flashes in the regolith, and occasional distortions in their perception of the lunar surface. Some likened it to a breathing effect, subtle but undeniable, while official statements claimed these were camera artifacts or reflections. The repeated consistency across missions suggested something more. Speculation abounds. Was the awakening mechanism created by an ancient lunar civilization, or is it part of a long-abandoned monitoring network designed to assess emerging intelligent species? Could the moon itself be a vessel, a sentinel, or a machine waiting to interact with humanity at the right moment? Theories suggest the moon may have remained dormant for billions of years, conserving energy, materials, and intelligence until someone like us arrived. And now, with humanity returning in the 21st century, we may be approaching the very moment the system was designed to activate. No direct exploration has yet penetrated Site Alpha. Robotic missions hover above, capturing images, radiation patterns, and energy pulses. But the interior remains uncharted, the purpose unknown, and the system dormant yet. Humans are only beginning to perceive the awakening mechanism, and somewhere beneath the moon's surface, the ancient network waits patiently, its purpose unknown, its intelligence silent, until the day humanity is ready to awaken it. Chapter 11, The Lunar Labyrinth. In 2032, humanity's lunar ambitions had grown beyond exploration. Private corporations and international coalitions were deploying advanced robotic drones capable of autonomous navigation through complex subsurface environments. One mission targeted Mare Frigoris, a region long thought geologically unremarkable. Initial radar scans revealed a labyrinthine network of tunnels hidden beneath the lunar surface. At first, scientists assumed collapsed lava tubes or natural cavities. But repeated scans showed perfect symmetry, long corridors intersecting at right angles, repeating patterns forming an intricate grid spanning several kilometers. The drones entered the tunnels with higher resolution cameras and sensors. Immediately, the interior displayed features no natural formation could replicate. Walls were lined with crystalline panels, reflecting light in geometric sequences, and ceilings displayed faintly etched symbols that resembled mathematical formulas, as if left by a highly intelligent species. The labyrinth seemed to pulse with subtle energy, a low hum vibrating through the drone's frames, interfering occasionally with navigation systems. Researchers concluded that the labyrinth might serve a dual purpose, both a preservation space and a testing ground, evaluating intelligence or persistence for anyone exploring it. Deeper exploration revealed spheres suspended in mid-air, rotating slowly. Each emitted faint pulses synchronized with the labyrinth's structure. Analysis suggested they were energy storage devices or alien computational units designed to endure for eons. Interestingly, the labyrinth reacted to observation. When the drones paused or moved hesitantly, the energy pulses intensified, almost as if the structure was aware of the observer's behavior. Unexpectedly, some corridors appeared to shift subtly over time. Repeat imaging showed changes in wall angles, light reflections, and even the positioning of suspended spheres. Scientists hypothesized a semi-sentient design. Either the labyrinth itself was alive in a form humans could not comprehend, or a mechanism maintained its structure dynamically. The lunar labyrinth's size and complexity suggested it might connect to other hidden lunar sites, potentially forming an integrated network of alien installations. The corridors, chambers, and energy systems were carefully preserved by the moon's vacuum and radiation. Every observation hinted at planning, intelligence, and technology far beyond human capacity. Despite months of observation, no surface entrance has been definitively located. The labyrinth remains mostly inaccessible, a silent, reactive entity beneath the lunar regolith containing technology, energy, and perhaps intelligence older than humanity itself. And so, beneath Mare Frigoris, the lunar labyrinth waits, a preserved enigma designed to endure eons testing and observing anyone who dares enter its endless corridors. Chapter 12: The Lunar Hive in 2040. Thermal sensors aboard orbital probes detected unusual energy activity on the Moon's far side near Mare in Ginny. Initially thought to be a transient anomaly, detailed imaging revealed hundreds of hexagonal surface structures arranged in a honeycomb pattern, perfectly symmetrical across several square kilometers. Radar scans confirmed subsurface extensions, forming a vast network of chambers and tunnels. Scientists dubbed this complex the Lunar Hive, a term reflecting its precise, organic-like geometric design. Robotic landers sent into the hive's chambers captured images that defied expectations. Each hexagonal cell contained a semi-transparent membrane through which faint crystalline forms could be discerned. These forms appeared dormant but structurally complex, resembling hybridized biological technological entities. Thermal readings indicated low-level energy activity, like a slow, synchronized heartbeat. The hive was alive, in a sense, yet fully preserved for millennia. Magnetometers and communication instruments fluctuated unpredictably when approaching the hive. Signals became distorted. Cameras captured geometric shadows that seemed to move independently, and drones occasionally lost orientation entirely, suggesting the structure responded to external observation. Researchers hypothesized a protective or awareness mechanism, perhaps designed to prevent interference or intrusion. Further analysis revealed that the hive's chambers were interconnected with complex pathways, some extending kilometers beneath the surface. Energy conduits ran through the network, and reflections indicated metallic and crystalline construction far beyond human metallurgy. The geometric arrangement was not random. Hexagons aligned to optimize spatial efficiency, while larger nodes seemed to act as central hubs, possibly controlling energy distribution or environmental maintenance within the hive. Speculation grew. Was the lunar hive a storage or incubation facility, a monitoring station, or a preserved archive of alien intelligence? Some researchers posited that the crystalline forms inside were sentient or semi-sentient, capable of interfacing with the hive itself. Attempts to probe the hive with electromagnetic pulses produced subtle feedback, suggesting a network designed to adapt to stimuli. The hive remains largely unexplored. Its origin, purpose, and creators remain unknown. Yet every observation confirms one thing: the Moon is not inert. Beneath its surface, intelligence waits, preserved, observing, and perhaps awaiting the return of explorers capable of understanding its design. The lunar hive stands as both warning and wonder, a testament to an ancient intelligence that utilized geometry, energy, and preservation to endure eons beyond human reach. Chapter 13: The Moon's Forgotten Observatory in 2028. Orbiters mapping Shackleton Crater near the Moon's south pole captured an array of structures that defied natural explanation. Rectangular towers, circular domes, and long conduits formed a deliberate layout. Radar penetration revealed chambers and corridors extending hundreds of meters underground, aligned precisely with Earth, the Sun, and specific stars. The alignment suggested a purpose beyond mere habitation, a cosmic observatory designed to monitor celestial events with unparalleled precision. Thermal imaging and electromagnetic sensors indicated persistent energy activity within the observatory. Despite centuries of inactivity, metallic surfaces reflected radar in ways inconsistent with natural geology, and certain sections appeared to subtly shift when repeatedly imaged over months, implying adaptive technology or preservation mechanisms. Scientists speculated that the observatory might be capable of monitoring distant solar system events or even life on Earth itself. Historical analysis suggested that other lunar anomalies, the Black Tower, Tycho ship, lunar hive, and lunar labyrinth, could be linked to the observatory, forming an integrated network. Energy pulses recorded from each site showed consistent patterns, as if the observatory coordinated their activity or maintained them in a dormant state, waiting for human observation or interaction. Leaked engineering reports from lunar missions indicate that robotic probes experienced sudden electromagnetic interference near the observatory. Cameras malfunctioned, sensors froze, and subtle energy surges disrupted instruments. Behavior consistent with a system capable of detecting intrusion and responding accordingly. Some researchers proposed that the observatory was semi-sentient, programmed to preserve itself and its observations until a civilization reached the proper technological threshold. Inside the chambers, walls reflected complex geometric patterns and faintly etched star maps. Circular voids, aligned with distant stars, indicated an advanced understanding of celestial mechanics, far beyond what humanity achieved at the time of the moon's presumed construction. The observatory may have served as both archive and monitor, a repository of cosmic knowledge and a silent sentinel over the solar system. The moon's forgotten observatory remains untouched, unseen, and operational. Its creators unknown, its purpose enigmatic. It endures as a reminder. The moon is not merely a satellite, is a sentinel, archive, and observatory, preserving intelligence and technology beyond human comprehension, silently observing the cosmos and us.